Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, April 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. A couple quick clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, and I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol FRC, remains in the news and continues to get beat down. But we now have an interesting pattern here headed into Thursday, and I want to be very clear as I draw this pattern. I'm not trying to imply this is a great talent. I'm not trying to imply this is a special discovery on my part. A lot of people, you got to think of drawing this pattern. And I say all that because when a lot of people have drawn the same pattern and are watching the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So the pattern here that I think a lot of people have drawn is based on just drawing that trend line right there. So let's change that to green to represent more so the bullish part of the pattern. And then there's a lot of other people that you got to think have noticed that there's this downwards trend right here. So you have what, ascending, or not an ascending triangle, excuse me, a symmetrical triangle, a wedge pattern here that is formed. And while nothing is guaranteed, my point here is this: is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can work its way back up there and get a break up through the top part of this wedge pattern, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That's certainly a plausible outcome based on just the potential self-fulfilling prophecy nature of the pattern itself. On the flip side of things, is it valid to think that the price comes down here and breaks at the bottom, that break could just continue to send this thing further and further lower, cause short support? And again, that is a plausible outcome to have. But the point here being is you got to think a lot of people are watching this wedge pattern. So the exciting question here headed into Thursday is who's going to win out? Are the bulls going to win out with a break to the upside, or are the bears going to win with a break to the downside? Let's see what happens. Next one here, CRKN. And as we just talked about in the previous one, so I don't want to spend as much time, but the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies, and you got to think a bunch of people have come here and done this, drawn a very basic trend line, which goes to show the power of charts. But I mean, look how beautifully these 2 points right there forecasted that level and then forecasted that level. But point here being, you got to think a whole lot of people are watching that level, which again, are there guarantees? There are not. But is it plausible? Is it valid to think that the price can turn itself around, come up here and get a break up through that trend line, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a rational outcome that could very well take place. So if you like penny stocks and if you like to trade these potentially self-fulfilling prophecy type dynamics, keep an eye on it. Next one, SAI, and I like this one because in my mind, it's got a pretty well-defined area of resistance here. Not as well-defined as the other ones, so I'm not going to go and just call it a blatantly obvious self-fulfilling prophecy type level. But in my mind, this does seem to be an interesting level where the price has gotten up here and struggled. Granted, today it did get above that level for a while, but ultimately could not maintain that momentum, fell back below it, and then when the price tried to get back above it, you can see right there, that area went right back to acting as resistance, just like it did back here. So that's just my long way of saying that key level to watch, at least in my opinion, right there around the $4.30 mark from a resistance standpoint in terms of if you're looking to play some sort of breakout. As far as supports are concerned, first level that stands out to me is just simply where this pullback here finally, consolidated out right there around the $3.65 mark. If you want to get super aggressive in terms of looking for a pullback, then, you could use that purple line down there, but the risk associated with that is, maybe the price never goes down there and you just missed out on the trade entirely. But like I said, if the price does go down there, then right around this $3.10 mark could be an interesting level. But all in all, good volume today, good volatility. And, the volume has really dropped off quite a bit, as you can see right here during this consolidation period. But that's what you want to see from a volume analysis standpoint. During consolidations and pullbacks, you want to see volume drop off, and that's exactly what's happened here. So we'll see if this is some sort of leading indicator of maybe another attempted move back to the upside. Next one here, MULN. Kind of wanted to just I think this will be my last one for a while unless something crazy happens, but you just kind of wanted to complete the story because the story has now been completed. What was the story? Well, the story was that the price was all the way down here and then made a very, very impressive move all the way up there. And at that point, it became a big question of, wow, is this the start of something bigger, or is this just some sort of dead cat bounce, pump and dump, whatever terminology you want to use for it? But that was the question, because at that point in time, it was a very valid question to say, maybe this is the start of something bigger. But we now have our answer, and yeah, that was just a pump and dump, dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it. What gives me the right to say that? Well, the fact that now the price has gone not only where it started, so think about it. The price started, or that movement started right there. Look at where the price is now. So not only has the price gone back to where it started, it's actually gone even lower. And that is the epitome of a pump and dump, or whatever you want to call it. So yes, as far as that big movement, we have our answer. There was no strength behind it. That does now just bring about some of the newer levels of support, with that level now being seemingly down here around the 7.5 cent mark, down around that level right there. But yeah, overall, just was, if you traded it, well done. If you were, buying, investing, and thinking this was going to be the greatest thing ever, as of right now, you're quite a bit underwater. But yeah, overall, there was no genuine power behind it. But who knows? This thing has a history of making big moves, so that doesn't mean that another big move can ever happen. Next one, AMC, and good overall day. Continues to grind higher and higher, and going back to the talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies, got to think that a lot of people have probably drawn that trend line right there, because in all actuality, and let me just get rid of that line down here, and I'm not going to use a lower trend line, but just for example's sake, if you can visualize, let's just use that purple line there as the trend line here. So in other words, let's just use this purple line and extend it out like that. So what we'd have here is we have our support, we have our resistance, we have the big move up, and then let's put our golf ball down here to make it more visual for you golfers out here. And what we have here is a multi-day bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's bullish does not mean the price is for sure going to go upwards. But overall, the chart's hanging in there. It's consolidated nicely. It's still got work to be done. And, tying that back into the whole self-fulfilling prophecy angle, is it valid to think that the price goes up there and breaks through it, that break in and of itself could create and cause people to buy just because, hey, I'm a breakout player. Oh, hey, look, that's breaking out. I'm going to buy. Yeah, that's a plausible thought process to go through. But AMC, as of now, the best way to summarize it is 30-minute bull pennant pattern. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering on Thursday. So very soon, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then definitely get signed up for it. There's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So if you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, oh, that is super awkward. Oh, that is hilarious. I'm not even going to try to play that off. So my daughter is on my chest. You just can't see her. So it looks like I'm sitting there. This is hilarious. How do I get that to go away? I got to take a second. Nobody's going to believe me. Let me take this. This is good stuff. All right. So what just popped up, can I not take a screenshot? Just a minute. So there we go. I promise. It popped up in OneDrive. Looking back at your memories, that is my youngest daughter. So like 11 years ago, we were just hanging out watching TV. But yeah. So some of you that stuck around to this point, you're going to get a good laugh. But that was funny. That's never happened before. So thanks, Microsoft, and your little memories. Good memory, but kind of at a random spot and made me look really, really creepy in the first place. But anyways, if you want to learn more about the tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for that free training. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA, and overall a good move, although things are starting to look sketchy now with this bigger pullback. But the level that I would definitely consider very, very important moving forward is right here at $9.25, with the same logic of MULN, right? Remember MULN, that was a stock that made the big move up, and then it started to come back down. And just because something comes down does not mean it's game over. Nothing can go straight up. But when prices start to go back to where they were, that's where you officially say, okay, yeah, that was just a dead cat bounce, whatever terminology you want to use. And that's where 925 comes into play, because if this pullback continues, then all of a sudden the price is down below here. What is that doing to the price? That has quite literally put the price right back inside of this range where it just was. And as we've already established, not exactly a sign of power when a great move happens and then the price goes right back to where it was. Once more, not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's why, in my opinion, 925, very important level of support. In terms of areas of resistance, keep an eye on that pink line right there, 200 period moving average, and that's just based on a basic principle that when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So you can see right there, it was support. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, right around $9.90 will be the key level of resistance. Next one, LCID, and we got ourselves another solid pattern here. Bottom of the pattern, I'm going to start because we're going to use kind of our imaginations for the top part of the pattern. But bottom of the pattern right here, $7.15. And then earlier we used the 50 period for the lower part. But in this situation, let's just extend this pink line out, which is the 200 period moving average. You can see has already presented some problems. So let's just use that, extend that out as our trend line to the above. We have our trend line down here. We have the big move up. So bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Point here being nice explosion up. Sure, it's pulled back, but it's consolidated. And same general idea also as MARA, meaning if the price comes down here and breaks to the downside of the pattern, what is that doing to the price? That's putting the price right back to where it was, which you now know, not exactly a sign of genuine power. But as of now, the price is holding up. It's still got an opportunity to build a higher base. So let's see if the price can complete the job and then get another surge to the upside. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, another very rough day, and updates here need to be done. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that level up there as it served its purpose for now. And the next update I'm going to do is just based on, as I said before, foundational level. When levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So in the very near term now, that 155 mark will be the key level of resistance. In fact, if you look closely, you can see both there and then the final 30-minute candle, both were rejected off that 155 mark. So if this bounce is going to continue in the very near term, like I said, that'll be the main question mark. Can the price get back above there? From more so a broader point of view, the level to watch would be that purple line up there, 50-period moving average. But I fully admit, it's kind of irrelevant right now given the price is all the way down there. But it is Tesla, so you never know. Maybe that comes into play on Thursday. Crazier things have happened. As far as levels of support, very simple, very straightforward, and actually presents an interesting scenario because you can see twice now the price has gone down to that level. And let's see, what is that level just to make sure? At 153.25. So right there, which now presents an interesting question of, is this some sort of double bottom pattern? Is this getting ready to double bottom back up? Very well could be a possibility, and that's what you got to think a lot of traders are watching, wondering that exact same thing. So self-fulfilling prophecy or not, that could certainly play a role in Thursday's action. But nonetheless, if the price does come down back down to there to 153.25, you got to think a bunch of people will be watching it. But so far, so good. That level is held very strong 2 times. So is it a double bottom? We'll see what happens. Next one, PBLA, and I like this for a very simple reason. It's got a good premise, and it's, in the world of penny stocks. So yeah, an absolutely terrible day if you bought up there because it gapped up, came all the way down here, and while this is happening, it always gets super sketchy because it's like, okay, is this thing literally going to go right back to where it was? But no, it didn't. It actually started to chop around, which now gives us some very well-defined levels. So the well-defined levels from the support side of things, right down here are moving averages, pink line, purple line, 200-period moving average at 47, 50-period moving average at 46. So you could use that in a roundabout way as a potential area of support if you like to play bounces, stuff like that. Or if you like to play breakouts, then you have a very well-defined breakout point right up here at that level, which sits at the 61-cent mark. You can see the price has been up here several times. Boom, 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 and it struggled with it. So it does not mean that the price can't push through it, but it is very clearly a stubborn level, but it also brings about, once again, self-fulfilling prophecies, where if the price comes up here and can get a push up through it, it's rational to think that could lead to that much more buying and ultimate momentum. But like I said, pretty basic premise with some well-defined levels in the world of penny stocks. So if you do like penny stocks, keep an eye on it. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Biggest difference here is it just allows you access at a much lower price point, which makes it very, very popular. And overall, price is sitting at some very interesting levels. Main level right here. This was a level of resistance headed into today at 25.55. Price gapped above it. Did get rejected back down, but you can see. So let me actually change. So turn that into a quick plug. Sign up for the class. I mean, classic example. You would expect to act as support, and as the price fell. Oh, look, right? Coincidence, right where the price started to go sideways. Now, the big question is, does that level continue to hold? That'll be a very interesting question to watch. If it does not, then at that point, while there are no guarantees, is it plausible to think that the price could then go down there and test that 25.15 mark, if not even lower? Yeah, in my mind, that seems very realistic. But if you do get the bounce, that's good, but don't get too excited because you still have 2 main levels. The first key battleground is going to be that purple line right there, which is where the price got rejected from, 50-period moving average. But even if you get up through that moving average, don't get too excited because, again, not that far away. You have that dreaded trend line right there, which if I squeeze the chart down, you'll see has been just very, very annoying. Rejected the price. So, again, I'm not saying it can't be broken. I'm just saying don't get overly excited if that 50-period is broken because not that far away. You then have to deal with that very stubborn trend line. But overall, it'll be very interesting. Does it get a bounce? Does it continue to the downside? Grab your popcorn and let's see what happens with it. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live online class. It'll be tomorrow, Thursday, April 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Say hi, tell me what you traded today. Did you make money? But those two things help out the channel, help out the algorithm. And as long as I know people are enjoying, then I will continue to put in the required time and effort to get this content out to you. So again, hit that like button, leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and get signed up for the free class.